Okay. And we're rolling. Go ahead and give us your rank, first, last name, your unit, and then your hometown. Go ahead.
Okay. My name is Staff Sergeant Christopher Westcott. I'm with the 3rd of the 290th, part of the 91st Training Division in Oklahoma. My hometown is Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Okay. Could you spell your first name and last name?
First name Christopher, C-H-R-I-S-T-O-P-H-E-R. Last name Westcott, W-E-S-T-C-O-T-T.
All right, great. So tell us a little bit about this training you guys are doing today and who these guys are.
I'm an OCT, or an Observer Coach and Trainer for the 91st Training Division, and we are running lanes here at Fort Hunter Liggett with the 491st MP Company out of Riverside, California. This is their 2-week AT, and it's also my 2-week AT, and we're running an operation for the entry control point, and this is the lane that they are performing right now.
Okay, awesome, man, that is good. Okay, and tell us, what have you seen, the great things you've seen as far as the training and the interaction between you guys and this unit?
Sure. So units have the opportunity at Battle Assembly every month to train on their soldiering tasks, both individual and collective. And so my job as an OCT is to evaluate them as a second set of eyes outside looking into their unit and their performance. We have training and evaluation outlines that outline the Army doctrine, the standard to which they'll be held. And so we set up lanes using an opposition force and run them through their paces. And so we stand back and we observe their interaction, and do they act, do they not, in their communication, and we document according to the Army standard of their performance. And then afterwards we do an after-action review and get together with the leadership and the soldiers down to the lowest private. And we try to do self-discovery with them and ask them probing questions of how did the lane work, how did you perform, what went wrong or what went right, and really get them to look inside themselves for the answers. And then try to help them find the solutions to things that they didn't do correctly, and to really accept the positives and go forward, making the corrections necessary. And so in the crawl, walk, run, we hope that they take those lessons learned and do better in each iteration.
Okay, and man, that's great. And as far as overall Army readiness, how well do you think this training is going to make these guys ready if they are called, next week?
We have seen great leaps and bounds improvements over the first day of the actual lanes that we're performing. It usually takes a day or so for units to...
Mustang 5-1, Mustang X-ray over.
Mustang X-ray, this 5-1, send it.
Roger, Mustang X-ray, we're at the ECP with approximately, with 1-3 packs for your COB zone.
I'll let you handle it. He's picking that up.
Okay. In a little bit, go ahead and jump in when you want. In a little bit, we're going to go into the active duty cooperation. Well, that's a different. Yeah, but we still get the soundbite now.
Outlaw 22, this is Mustang 5-6, over.
Yes.
You did already? Yeah, he's spelled it.
Not phonetically, I just gave you the alphabet.
Okay.
Whiskey Eras, or Whiskey Echo, Sierra Tango. Well, restate your last question, if you will, Sergeant.
Okay, it's about Army readiness and how well is this going, and how these guys are, how well do you think as overall training for Army readiness, in case they're called out next month, how valuable is this training?
The training that we're doing now is extremely valuable to the big Army picture. The first day usually is a little rusty, and you can see that there's some rough edges, that things you just can't do at a battle assembly that you can do now in an operational environment like this. So the leaps and bounds that a unit can make in the first week, in the second week of an AT like this, it's invaluable training. We have the resources, we have the land, we have opposition, role players to throw into the mix, and you just can't beat actual training like this as far as making a unit ready.
That's good. Can you mention his unit he's in? Yeah, I got it. Okay, so we're just going to shift a little bit to the active duty and reserve components coming together in training. So tell us a little bit about the active duty component that's helping you guys today.
In order to put these lanes together and provide good training for our unit, we have to have an opposition force. And today we're working with the 2nd Infantry Division. We have a squad that they've sent here to help us train. So they are subject matter experts themselves, and they're providing us with an actual opposition force who knows what they're doing and giving our soldiers the proper feedback, if you will, the right attack and the right response. So instead of having soldiers who aren't as sure about movement techniques and a complex attack, we're getting to work with active duty soldiers who do this every day. And it's an invaluable partnership because we get to interact with them and pick their brains when we do an after action review. They get to offer to us what they see from their side of the battle, and we get to offer to them what we saw on our side of the battle. And it also just gives us the opportunity to interact with one another. You know, active duty may have a picture of the reserve, and reserve may have a picture of them that is unclear or untrue until we get together in times like this and we see that we're both doing great things on each side. And we're both doing great things on each side of the Army force.
Okay, do you have a question? All right, and as far as like the overall picture, what advice would you give any other reserve unit out there if they ever had a chance to partner with an active duty? What would be your advice to a unit to reach out sometimes and, you know, maybe get some advice or some training from an active duty component?
I would encourage any company that is near an active duty unit to link up with them and have them join them on a battle assembly weekend, or meet in a common fort or training area that is close by and coordinate training together. I think it's an invaluable resource to be able to pick their brains and their lessons learned when developing a company's standard operating procedures, their SOPs, to draw from the knowledge base that we have. And we can only do that through communication and partnership. And so I would encourage any reserve or National Guard unit to reach out to those active duty units that are nearby and draw from their lessons learned and their insight.
All right, awesome. And just one last thing, just from your experience in all the years that you know we've all been doing this, you know, it's a matter of one phone call and these guys are going to be they're active duty, right? You know, when you're on orders.
Yes, sir.
So from your experience, what have you seen this training has done out in the theater and the great results that you've seen these reserve units from all this training when they actually did have to go to war?
Sure. The opportunities we have to come to the field like this set us up for success when we have to deploy. And like you said, Sergeant, we're only a phone call away from receiving orders and put into the actual deployment cycle. So any opportunity we have to come together in an environment like this with the resources that we have only make us better for the day when we actually have to step off into mission.
Damn, that was good, man. I'm glad you said it. Hey, thanks.
You're welcome.
Man, I know it's hard doing that, but man, you're good.
Well, we got a former
That is awesome.
former 46, future 46 right there.
Yeah, you're good, man. Yeah, you make our job a heck of a lot easier.
46.
So where's this
Thank
gonna?
you so much. Well,
Where will this end up ultimately?
say your rank and your first and last name?
Sergeant Mandalas Alvin.
Can you spell your first and last name, please?
Mandalas Alvin.
Can you tell me what unit you're in?
I'm with 2nd Battalion, 3rd Infantry Regiment of Fort Lewis, Washington.
Can you let me know, can you tell me what you're doing here today?
We are facilitating the National Guard and the Reserves units in their annual training to facilitate what their mission is, which is Blue Force against OPFOR at this time. And right now we're just having fun out here, you know, bridging the gap between the Reserves and the National Guard and the active duty.
How long have you been how long is this training going to last?
This training will last about 2 weeks. This is their annual training. We've been out here since the 8th, and we've been training hard with them day in, day out.
Could you tell me the home, town, and state where your unit's from?
We're on Fort Lewis, Washington. That's where our active duty is currently located.
Can you tell me your experiences that you've noticed working with the Reserves?
I think there is a lot of gap in between how the Reserve and the Guard do their things in combat life missions, and with how active duty does their training. So with 2 units come together, we are actually bridging the gap and therefore creating a more total army in terms of how we effectively use our combat power.
Do you have any experiences of working with Reserves in combat that you can speak about?
This is my first time working with Guards and Reserves, and therefore I get to see both sides, and this is a great training, in my opinion, for both sides.
Can you speak specifically on the training you're doing?
Right now we're doing a disturbance control, meaning these are the Mission Police Division or company, and what we're doing is we're local nationals trying to infiltrate or trying to disrupt their mission at this time.
Is there a difference between what the Reservists and Guard are, their duties as far as this training? Is it broken in half? How is it broken down?
They are combined, so it's a mix between Guard and Reserve as far as I'm tracking, and we're just here to play the opposing forces, see how they react to things through real life scenarios based on the senior they are controlling this training at this time.
If you have any active duty element watching this, what can you tell them when it comes to the benefits of maybe working with Reserve?
You see the other aspect. We cannot function well without National Guard, Air and Reserves, and the Reserve and Guard do need active duty to collectively work together to accomplish one mission, which is the Army mission.
Tell us a little bit about your soldiers and how well they've done, and how important how seriously they take this mission of helping out the Reserve soldiers.
The importance of all this training is to make sure that you are putting the time and effort and dedications as a soldier in the United States Army to make sure that you are training to the best of your capabilities. There are all spectrums of soldiers that come from different sides of the world, and we're here to collectively put our thoughts and our ideas and to work as one. Therefore, to learn from the mistakes and the good things that we've done so far and grow as one army to our collective mission. But so far they've been motivated, they've been encouraged, like active duty encouraging Reserves to be motivated in some aspect, and then we learn from each other. So seeing this as a leader, it's actually a great thing to see because we're growing as one army.
Good question. Can you speak on maybe some of the active duty guys who maybe were formerly reservists? How have they helped with your unit?
They bring that perspective on the table. They bring their experiences, what they've experienced in the past, to the active duty side. So we do things a little bit differently. We train a lot more, obviously. However, there are things that we can learn from each other, and that's as long as we come in with an open mind. I think we're on the same page.
Ask them a few OCT questions.
Do what?
You want to ask them some OCT questions? Working with OCT, we can use that.
Okay, so Working with these the OCT trainers, how valuable have you seen this training as far as OCT, active reserve, all working together, and how well have speak a little bit about the OCTs.
They are here for a reason. Obviously, they brought experience and knowledge into the table. Most of the OCT I work with are officers and with senior NCOs around them. So with the commission and non-commission working together, you know, I thought that's a lethal force for everyone to reckon with. You know, just because they have so much knowledge and so much insight from the commission side and the non-commission side, and I thought it was great.
So this has to be probably one of the most unique trainings when you have a mixture of active duty and reservist OCTs, a mixture of active duty and reservist training. How can you explain that unique element to someone that's probably never going to ever see this? And it's not too often you actually see it. In my humble opinion, this is a total combat power of what the Army has to offer. We can work as an entity as an active, we can work one entity as a reserve and a different entity of guard, but when you put everything in the table, lay them all out, and get everyone's opinion on how to do things correctly and how to fix things, how to do things better, I think this is what the whole combat power is all about, is focusing on the Army's mission, and therefore, I thought this is a learning experience for me too, of course, and so is to my soldiers.
We are rolling.
Okay.
Okay, so go ahead and give us your rank, first and last name.
Okay.
Your unit and your hometown.
First Lieutenant Chad Walters with the 491st MP Company. I'm out of Riverside, California right now.
Okay, and tell us a little bit about the training your unit's doing today.
Okay, so right now we're running 48-hour ops, 48-hour continuous ops out of the Schoonover airfield. Our mission right now is to provide security, roving patrols, things of that nature for the units in this area, and also to provide a unit capable of handling civil disturbances for the units on this airfield as well.
Okay, and tell us how realistic with these OCTs and your up for, how realistic is this and how are your soldiers doing with this training?
Okay, the training has actually been really good. The situations have definitely been realistic. Our soldiers have been responding well to it. I mean, initially we came out here and it was like, whoa, man, this is real, but we got into it, and it's been really good. It's been a really good experience.
Okay, tell us a little bit about the OCTs and how helpful they've been.
Okay, so when we first got here, we were a little skeptical about the OCTs, right? Because nobody likes flagging their own dirty laundry out there. But then once we kind of the OCTs started working with us, they definitely let us know, hey, we want you to succeed, and they were being very positive with their criticism and the constructive criticism, and really just trying to make us more mission capable, and just trying to drive us for success. So that's been a good thing.
Hey, when you're looking at him, can I have you say your rank, the company you belong to, and can you spell your first and last name?
I got it.
You got it?
Yeah, he said it.
Oh, okay, so.
You're good.
All right.
Okay, and tell us a little bit about your soldiers and how motivated they are and how this training has gone so far.
Okay, so my soldiers, I'm with 3rd Platoon right now, and we're out of the 491st MP Company, the Gladiators, cool. But our sort of mini motto within our platoon is that we're the misfits, but we're sort of, I mean, if I say so myself, we're definitely probably leading from the front throughout our entire company, everywhere we go, we try to lead from the front, so I'm very proud of them.
What do you think the benefits of training here at Fort Hunter Liggett with the elements based on how it is in the sandbox? What's the benefits?
Okay, so I haven't deployed yet, but we're definitely dealing with high temperatures and 24-hour op tempos. So especially running a red, amber, green cycle right now, my soldiers are dealing with trying to sleep in the middle of the day when it's like 98 degrees outside and we're stationed out in the sun, you know, or that's kind of where we're at. So we're having to make do with that. And then next thing we know, we're out there in our amber cycle. I want to go play right now. You see that? So, yeah, get some.
That's freaking awesome.
Can you tell us what we just saw behind over your shoulder?
Okay, so